Happy Monday. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1246. I missed you yesterday. I was in Janesville. I had a wonderful show. We're going to talk all about the Janesville Card Show. As a dealer, the perfect card show, and I'll tell you why. My PSA reveal, very first time submitting cards to PSA now in hand. I picked those up yesterday also. And the PSA reveal link in the description. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I won't spoil it, so go check out the video. Those, by the way, you don't even have to watch the video. You can go to my eBay store, and you will find them listed for sale in my store, which is, you guessed it, 99centcards.com. So let's give a little Ernie update for those that come for the puppy content. So as you see, Ernie is not with me in the office this morning. So yesterday was Saturday. We went out to dinner Saturday night. We went to a Chinese place that my mother-in-law loves. So we went out with mother-in-law and her friend and a couple other friends of theirs. I'm not a big fan of this Chinese place, but it's okay. Now my mother-in-law and when my father-in-law was still with us, they would go. My mic muted. They would go every Friday, and when early on in our marriage and dating, we would often go to this Chinese place, and it's like I'm so sick of this Chinese place. Now we don't go as often with them, but my mother-in-law still goes quite often. So in like small doses, I enjoy it and it's good. So we went there Saturday. So it was kind of our first test leaving Ernie in his crate. And we've left him in the crate. Like when I go to the post office, if my wife's at work or at a showing, I'll put him in the crate for 20 minutes. But he's never really been with us. He's never been in the crate for more than an hour, half hour. So this was our first test, and we wanted to keep it to 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and I think it was about 2.5 hours. So we got back, and of course he's got a little puppy bladder. So as soon as he got out, he peed, which is okay because he's got a little small bladder. So that was so he was good. And then Sunday was our test. We're trying to train him to sleep in, and I had the card show. So my wife said, "What time are you leaving?" And I'm like, "Well, I'll probably be on the road by 6:15, so I'll wake up at 5:30." And she's like, "Okay." So the plan was for me to wake up at 5:30 and try to sneak out without him noticing. Because if I get up, then he wants to get up and play and potty and all that stuff. So it's like, okay, let's try to train him to sleep in a little later and later and later. So my wife actually woke up first at like 4:30 she said she wasn't feeling well. So I think she was taking some Tums. I don't know. But so she got up and I kind of like stirred and ignored it. And then I heard my wife turn off the alarm. And she had Ernie. And so I like, oh, so that sprung me awake. I picked up my phone. It's 5 a.m. I'm like, okay. So if I go back I'm going to get 30 minutes of sleep and I'm going to wake up Ernie again after he comes back in. So I'm like, I'm getting out of bed. I've got a half an hour head start on my day. So that worked out great. My wife said when I got home, she's like, he was good. We played a lot. A couple people came over. He did sleep in after he went out early morning. He did sleep in. So I'm like, okay. So the plan is still for me. If he wakes up, the plan is for me to take him out first thing in the morning when I get up. But I'm like, you know what? Let's try to train him to sleep in. So that was my thought process this morning. My alarm went off. I woke up and Ernie didn't. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I'm going to test it because sometimes I'll pick up my phone and scroll. And then that kind of, he's like, oh, that means it's time to get up. So I'm like, okay, let me test him see if he moves around. So I got my phone out. I'm scrolling around for a few minutes, and he didn't stir. I'm like, okay. Next step is to get out of bed, grab my glasses, get out of bed. Still didn't stir. He kind of poked his head up, and I'm like, okay. He's not like, because usually he's like, a little puppy. It wasn't like that. I'm like, okay, now I'm going to go into the kitchen. I'm going to get a glass of water. I'm going to listen. Do I hear him? Don't hear him. Okay, I'm going to go back and kind of not outside the door. I don't want to like alert him, but go to the stairs, listen, don't hear anything. So I come down, get ready, take a shower. I'm getting dressed, and I hear the door. Fuck. My wife's not happy. She's in zombie-like status. I thought you were taking him out. I'm like, I'm trying to train him to sleep in. So she slammed the door and went back to bed. Angry wife at 6 a.m. And so I played with him, gave him breakfast. We played. We went out again. So I tried to wear him down a little bit. And then he stopped kind of playing and went for his bone. He's chewing on his bone. And then, he's kind of calm. Then he gets up and kind of walks. I'm like, okay, I think he's good. We can take him back into bed. So I put him back into bed, and I haven't heard any noises. So I think we're good to go. So the start of week 2 with Ernie. Actually, I guess the start of week 2 was the weekend. So we've had him for how many days now? 9.5 days. So entering day 10. So that's the Ernie update. What else is going on? I think that's about it. So we're going to talk Madison Card Show, since I mentioned it. Saturday, August 24th, less than 2 weeks away. It's another big one. 200 tables, 4 ballrooms open. Saturday, August 24th. Madison Card Show, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. This will be the last 200 table, not forever. I never say never ever, but for the foreseeable future, this will be the last 200 table show. Next month, it'll be back down to 140 tables, just the 2 ballrooms. So take advantage of 200 tables in Madison in 2 weeks, Saturday, August 24th, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. And I can't wait till it's back to only 140 tables. It's gonna be so much less stress. Let's go to the chat, and then we'll talk yesterday's Janesville Card Show, which was, for me as a dealer, the perfect card show. And in the description, if you read the description, what makes a great card show as a dealer? Most people will say, well, it's making sales, making money. That's why you're there. No, that's only part of the equation. Yes, that's an important piece of the equation, but it's not the only piece. Making money, making purchases, and then developing contacts, relationships. And I had all of that. Synergy was at work. Ooh, buzzwords today. Synergy at work in Janesville yesterday. We'll talk about it. Charlie's in the house. He's listing. He's shipping. He's sipping on some coffee. What's up, Charlie? Good morning. David in the house. Good morning to you. We've got Max. Good morning. Good morning. Kevin, what's happening? Good morning. Johnny Boy Cards. Good morning. Happy Monday. Thank you. PSA video is up. Link in the description. I reveal the results. And if you watch the video, you'll know why I was very happy with one result, why I was very unhappy with another result, and then I was satisfied with the other 2. See which ones. Mix and match. Very happy which one. Was it Dr. J or Walter? Was it George Brett or Nolan Ryan? Was he very unhappy? Which one? Mix and match. Team Kansas, what's going on? Good morning, ladies. Congrats on the grades. Thank you. Overall, satisfied. Overall, I was satisfied. I think if you watched the video, I stated that. But if you didn't, go watch the video. But a little teaser. I was overall satisfied, but I was one submission was a punch in the gut. One was a punch in the gut. Red Light 34. Good morning. Jeremy's in the house. Saturday card show for me was awesome. Sold 25 4 rows. Holy moly. I ended up not taking my bulk, my 10-cent boxes. I had a few people ask about, I don't have any baseball quarter boxes, and I was okay with that. Because I just didn't have, it's like I could have brought them, but the people that ask are like my regulars that I see at most shows. And it's like, if I would have brought any quarter boxes, baseball, you would have already seen the cards. So it would have been a waste of your time. So I'm right now, my focus moving forward in the near term is not quarter boxes. It's going to be more on dollar boxes, but that all depends on the inventory that I take in. I've taken in a lot of inventory that I can't move fast enough, on eBay or get through, or stuff that I don't want to list on eBay. It goes into the dollar boxes. A lot of non-sport stuff went in the dollar boxes. I comped some of it. $10 cards. I don't want to list non-sport Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. It's going in the dollar boxes. So made a ton of sales out of the dollar boxes, which I anticipated, knowing what I was putting in there. Now, does that mean I'm not going to do quarter boxes in the future? Hell, the next show I set up at, which I don't know yet when that will be, I might have quarter boxes. So stay tuned. Who knows? Royals 417, good morning. Lewis, good morning. What's going on? Philly Joe's in the house. Good morning. Mr. Archer, what's happening? Brian's in the house. Good morning. Who had some great pickups this weekend? Brian asks. ASAL Cards, good morning. I'm going to show you some of my pickups from Janesville yesterday. I don't think I tweeted anything out of my pickups. I did share an end of show. It was kind of a prearranged purchase. ASAL Cards, good morning. I switched to 50% off 10 plus items and have seen great results. 50% off sales. If you have traffic to your store, if you have followers, if you have a social media presence, even better. Even if not, those 50% off sales can be great. I do them in small doses. I haven't run a 50% off sale in several months, but things are moving quickly as they are. Now, will I do a 50% off sale? Probably soon I will, based on where I'm at listing wise within my eBay store. But I've got to be careful because it's not going to be a store-wide 50% off sale. My PSA slabs, I'm not going to have them be a 50% off. Some of the higher end in my terms, $100 plus is high end for me. Some people like $100. That's not high end. But for a low end volume seller, hell, we think $20 is higher end. So that stuff I won't put on. I love doing store wide, but the more higher end inventory that I have in there, it's like, I don't. And I want to be careful. I don't want to run those sales right when I list 1,000 new cards in my inventory, when those could move at regular price. Though 50% off sales historically in my sales that I've run on 50% off, I move a ton of stale inventory on 50% sales. I think the next time I do a 50% off sale, what I will see is a ton of 70 singles. Those are moving like hotcakes in my eBay store. So I think I'll see more movement, especially at 50% off in that type of inventory. So I don't know when I'll do it, but probably here in the next couple months. It's not going to be, probably won't be in August, but maybe September. Kyle's here. Good morning. At least we get to look forward to Walter coming back all over again. Ooh, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Who's Walter? Jody, good morning. Josh in the house. What's up? Other card sellers have stated that they believe eBay is funneling traffic to their TCG and COMC sellers and reducing traffic to other sellers. Do you think this is possible? Do I think it's possible? 100%. Absolutely. Every platform has the ability to do this. Do I think it's actually happening? Possibly. I don't know. I will tell you from my personal statistics, scientific proof here. My traffic is not down. My traffic is actually significantly up over the summer months, even before I left for Europe. My 30-day impressions were, we're talking like April, May, June. My 30-day impressions were averaging 17, even dipped down to 16 some million. Right now, my impressions over 30 days are at 19.2 million, and we're early in the day. So by the end of the day, where this is calculated, because it takes to August 12th today, takes into account that last 30 days. So you'll see your numbers improve throughout the day based on that window. And of course, it depends on the volume you're moving. Based on the volume I'm moving, my traffic impressions right now, 19.228 million over the last 30 days. By the end of today, could be 19.6. And it also depends, who's looking at my stuff. So my traffic is significantly higher than it was in late spring, early summer. But could that be happening? Absolutely, it could, and I'm sure it does. But I think it's always been happening. I don't think it's something new. If it's happening now, it's happened a year ago, 2 years ago. And I'm sure it's happened with not just TCG and ComC, but other Burbank, Two Bros, Greg Morris, Dean's Cards, other high volume sellers as well. Tiger 727, what's going on? Good morning. Cooter's here. Good morning from Native America. There you go. Cooter, what's up? Red light PSA video. There you go. Check it out. Link in the description. Duke, good morning. ASAL says, I do cards $3 and less to move the dollar cards. See, and that's what I got to look into. And I've kind of tinkered around on, okay, what inventory. And I think that's a good threshold, like $3 and under, $5 and under, even $10 and under, do a 50% off. I think when I was trying to do a sale recently, it was I was targeting 20 and under. But that I haven't quite figured it out, but I haven't also really done much looking into. John, what's going on? Bought a price gun this weekend. Next chapter coming. John, how about that? Oh, man. That's old man card show right there. All the old guys have the pricing guns. I could have probably got a whole bunch of price guns from my I probably could have got them for a pretty good deal. My former boss and where I worked in high school was the grocery store. Damn microphone muted again. The IGA in Anawan closed a couple years ago. I probably 10 price guns. Maybe I could read if anybody's looking for a pricing gun. I don't need one, but if anybody is looking for one, I can reach out to my old boss. I usually see him once a year, but I'll shoot him a text and ask him if he has any of the old pricing guns. Because I know he was selling like shelving and a whole bunch of stuff from inside the grocery store. Pricing guns, I wouldn't think pricing guns were high on the sale list. I don't know, maybe they were, but they didn't do an auction or anything. But if anybody is in the market, like seriously, I can reach out and see if he has any for sale. George, what's up? Good evening to you. John says, get the sand out of your crotch yet, George. Uh-oh, he's got sand crotch. James in the house. Oh, here's a story about James. So yesterday was a good day because of one of the dealers that and see, I should keep my mouth shut because the very first time I bought from, his name's Greg, and he only sets up at maybe 2 shows a year, 3 shows a year maybe, but him and his kids rip so much. Bowman, Topps Chrome, and it's basically just Bowman Draft, Topps Chrome. That's it. That's all they rip. They just rip. And they sell their shit so cheap. Now, their prices have gone up. Their prices have gone up. The very first time I bought out their entire table at the end of the show, and I can't remember what I paid, 500, 300, and we're talking 30, 40,000 cards. That's the time I got like 30, 35 Jackson Holiday first Bowmans for a dime each. There were a few chromes in there for a quarter, I think. Second time, and of course, I pointed that table out to James. I shouldn't do that. I should keep these secrets to myself. But I have a big mouth. I blabber. Second show, it was a while. The second show might have been the last time. But the last time I bought the red, like 4 or 5 boxes, and it was $900. So the price went up on the per card basis quite significantly. So I saw him. I was actually digging through 5 stars boxes at the very beginning of the show, and I see Greg, and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Are you setting up?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Ooh," so I got to go find him. So the good thing is, I found Greg before anybody else did. So I got to look through all of the $2 boxes before James got there. So I pulled, and I knew I was passing on some good stuff, but I just wanted to get through everything, and I wanted to take what I knew was a good buy at $2 or in bulk $1 to $1.50. So I go through all the $2 boxes. By now we're a half an hour into the show, I think, and I had some people at my table, so I'm like, shit, I've got to go back to my table. I had some prearranged deals set up. One of those guys was there. So by the time I get back, I'm trying to look through the dime boxes because I didn't even take a check. I didn't even get to see what was in there because I was looking at the $2 box by design because I've got so much. I'm complaining about volume, and I'm trying to pick up more monster boxes. So that wasn't top of mind. But it's like, hey, if I can cherry pick, if there's some whoever is, Adley Rushman, Jackson Holiday, Churio, if I can get some of those for a dime, I'm all about it. So James is in front of one of the boxes. So I like try to put, and he closed. I'm like, shit, this MFer just bought all the dime boxes. And I think there was only two 4-row boxes. So I wasn't too upset. I went through some dollar boxes. I picked out like 10 or 15 out of the dollar box, but I got some good stuff out of the $2 boxes. And then I went back at the end of the day, and Greg had already left his son. I think his son's name's Derek. He's like, "You're not going to buy any boxes?" And I'm like, "What's your price on the $2 boxes?" And he's like, "I think my dad said $750." I'm like, "Ooh," because I was cherry picking, and I think I picked out 65 cards, and like there was a lot of stuff that at $750 that would have been like $1 a card, and I got the 65 cards for $1. So I'm like, I'm just going to cherry pick. And I'm like, you do $1 a card if I get a stack? He's like, yeah. So $65. I pulled out like all the rest of the holidays, and what else did I pull out? It was my first. So these were all out of the $2 box. And I think since this was early in the day, I think I got these for like $1.40 a card is what it ended up coming out to be. There was an Aaron Judge. There was an Aaron Judge Topps Tier 1 relic out of 344. And it was like a replacement in the $2 box that I got for like $1.50. That's like a $40 card. And they told me that was a replacement for a Mike Trout auto that was past the redemption window. And so the replacement was an Aaron Judge relic to 344. So, which is a $40 card. So I got this Dustin May. This is a throwback Thursday TBT. Actually, you know what? No, those came from Paul here. I think I got 6 or 7 cards from Paul. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So those I can show off. That I did not get out of the $2 box. I got that out of a $1 box. So First chrome auto, Dario Barrero of the White Sox. I mean, for $1.50, it might only be a few bucks. Couple Adley. I was pulling all the Adley Rushman rookies. I don't know if I'm going to sell these as singles or put those in lots. Seiya Suzuki, numbered out of 150. Panini 3-1 or 3-2. So that'll go into the Cubs pile for the PC. Tanner Murray, again, this is probably a $3 or $4 card, but at $1.50, I'll take it. More Adley Rushman rookies. Bowman's Best. Base, it's not a refractor. Jonafran Garcia, first chrome wave, numbered out of 399. More Adley Rushman. A lot of Topps Chrome Adley Rushman rookies. Jason Dominguez, Strokes, insert rookie. I think I pulled all the Jackson Churio Topps Chrome rookies. Another Adley Rushman. There were a lot of Adley Rushmans. Here's another Adley Rushman. Michael Bush, first chrome. These actually I might have got for $1. This is my dollar pile. Because this is like all Adley Rushman. So these were in the dollar pile. I paid $1 each for these, not $1.40. Here's all etch rookie rush. Heston Kjerstad, another Adley, a couple Bowman Chrome first. Walker Jenkins, more Adley Chrome rookies. Summertime in the Park, Acuna. Here's a Trout refractor. Another Adley. Here's another Cub. I don't know, Shimmer or whatever the hell this is from Bowman's Best. Matt Shaw. Oh, snap, die cut. J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez. Chrome insert, Pete Crow, PCA. Came to the league, Gunnar Henderson. Austin Riley, Inception, numbered to 75. I was surprised that was still there at the end of the day. Bowman Sterling, Adley rookie. Here's some Bowman Chrome Adley rookies. Jesus. Here's some more Topps Chrome Adley rookies. A lot of Adley rookies. Here's a Nelly Velasquez, numbered out of 150 from Bowman Sterling. A couple more Adley rookies. Here's an all-etch rookie rush style Frelick. William Bergoya, Bowman Sterling, auto. First chrome, whatever color this is, numbered to 199, Brock Porter. Caleb Bushley, for $1, I'll take it. It's probably worth $3. Who knows? Diane Jorge, auto. Chris Valamont, rookie auto. More Adleys. All those are Adley rookies. Otani refractor from Bowman's Best. Here's a Bowman Sterling Gabriel Gonzalez auto. Another Chrome Walker Jenkins. Masterpieces Max Clark. Mood Ring, these sell decently. Tommy Troy. We're talking a few bucks, not anything to call home. And more Adley Rushman rookie. So these I got for $1 each from that table at the end of the day. So these must be the $2 cards I got. So, and again, I paid $1.40 for these. So right off the top, some PC. Moises Ballesteros, first chrome. He's tearing the cover off the ball at AAA now. Jefferson Rojas, first chrome. Really like that kid. Derniche Valdez refractor to 499. Derniche Valdez yellow sapphire, I think, 75. That's numbered on a 75. Here's Matt Shaw from Bowman's Best. Morel rookie to 250. And for $1.40, how about this? Christian Hernandez, Bowman's Best auto. These also came out of the $1.40 box in my bulk deal. First chrome Churio. Here's a refractor Churio out of $4.99. Let's see. These I got out of the 5-star. There's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So those came. I bought all Adley Rushman out of the dollar box from 5-star as well. Here's an Adley Rushman, whatever insert that's called. It came to the league. I was buying heavy on Adley Rushman yesterday. Here's some type of refractor Aaron Judge, Topps Chrome, first chrome Sebastian Walcott. First paper, Wyatt Langford. That was probably a bad buy at $1.40. Davision De Los Santos, first chrome. Jackson Holiday, Bowman chrome. Julio Rodriguez, rookie. These, I think those came out of the 5-star box. Wilson Contreras, Chicago Pride. This actually, I think, came out of the 5-star. A couple of first chrome Sapphire, Davision De Los Santos. Rising Infernos, Lazaro Montes. Here's a Churio. Can't remember what insert that is. Jackson Holiday, same insert. Dylan Cruz, not selling for as much as I thought. But I left the paper. But I did find, 4 or 5 chromes. 1, 2, 3. I found 4 Bowman chrome firsts of Dylan Cruz. Had a $1.40 a pop. Douglas Glad. First Bowman chrome auto. Here's a Jackson Holiday chrome rookie. Ethan Salas Sapphire. A couple more Holiday Topps chrome rookies. Paid $1.40 each for these. Jackson Churio rookie from Chrome. Summertime in the Park Holiday. N.D. Rodriguez rookie auto. Bobby Witt Jr. Bowman Chrome rookie. Julio Rodriguez die cut from Bowman's Best. There's a random Tua numbered out of 199. Joshua Baez Bowman Sterling auto. Leover Peguero Bowman's Best auto. Had to pull a Shota rookie from Topps Chrome. Ethan Salas, I think that's a speckle refractor. Jackson Holiday Mojo. Rising Infernos, Dylan Cruz. There was like 2 random football cards and a rated rookie, Tyson Bagent. So I had to pull that one as well. So those are what I pulled out of the out of Greg's boxes. Let's see. Oh, that's a Chicago. There. 5-star, I pulled just all Adley rookies at $1 a pop. My buddy Paul from BCW had a $1 box. He had an all etch Dansby Swanson, which I think those are case hits. That the Dustin May came out of Paul's box. Cannon Smith, first edition, numbered out of 25. Otani, I'll pull him out of the $1 box. Here's an all etch Corey Seager. And then a couple stars of the MLB Otani, which I'll lot up Otani. So those were some of my pickups. So I think those were good pickups. Not all of my pickups. We'll get to the chat, and probably the best deal of the day came at the end of the show. Orlando, good morning. What's going on? Mark, what's happening? Finished a third 73, 74, and 77 sets over the weekend. I have a cardboard problem. Must have an affinity for 70s cards. Nice. Little teaser on what else I bought. More 70s cards. John says if they can funnel people to certain buyers, then they certainly can make up the impressions and traffic numbers. They very well could. Brian says price guns still exist. That's fun. Max says, John, the gun will change your life. Surprising you bought one, since I would assume you are against them. Ooh, shots fired. Josh says, appreciate the answer. John says, there's only one eBay number that means anything, a bottom line. But the more impressions, the more page views, the more sales. It's science. If you take a look at your numbers, usually when you have lower impressions, you have lower page views, and you have lower of the only eBay number that means anything. So you've got to look at it all, and there is a correlation between all of those numbers, whether you like it or not. Nick says, do you think Greg Morris's auctions are shilled? His sale prices are consistently higher than most. I don't want to speculate on anything, but I think with Greg Morris, for example, he's got such a big following. People will pay more for people they trust and know. They know what they're getting from Greg Morris. And that's and that is obviously a selling point, and it's going to drive higher sales. There's a reason why, certain cards sell for certain more from certain sellers. It's that premium from who you're buying from. John says, how do you prevent people from mixing your dime, quarter, and dollar box cards together? Easy. So I never run all three boxes at the same time. So my dollar boxes are all either top loaded or in card savers. My quarter boxes are either sleeved or not sleeved, but there's no top loaders or card savers in my quarter boxes. Same with dime boxes. I never run dime and quarter boxes at the same time. Whenever I run dime boxes, it's basically retired quarter boxes. It's like, okay, these quarter boxes have been at multiple shows. This is what's left. Now they're dime box cards. So that makes it very easy. I know there's some dealers that I bought from in the past at some of the bigger shows where it's just everything. Like, these are dollar boxes, and this table's dollar, this table's quarter, this table's a dime. The boxes aren't even marked. It's just whatever table they're on. Well, guess what? When you have 100 boxes or 50 boxes, people move shit around because there's 10 people at the table. It's a guy, grumpy old guy, sets up. I think he sets up in Oak Creek, sets up in Chicago, and he does that. And like 2 different occasions, I've said these were on the dime table, these were on the quarter table. And he's like, well, these shouldn't have been there. And I'm like, well, they were. Price your shit, man. Don't rely on, well, this table's a dime, this table's a quarter. Price your fucking shit. You won't have this issue. Like, if you want to charge me a quarter for these cards that I pulled out of what I thought were dimes, I don't want them. So you can put them back into your damn box. Said my piece. So I make it easy. Card savers, top loaders, $1. If they're sleeved or not sleeved, they're a quarter. Can you hear me? I'm having mic issues again. So I don't know. Hopefully you can hear me. I'll give it a second. And once I start, if I go to the end of the comments, people, I can't hear you. Your mic's muted. All right, let's do that now. Muted. Good now. Now we can. Okay. Yeah, that's like the 3rd time this morning that's happened. Where are we at? Max says, to be honest, ever since eBay purchased TCG Player, they haven't done much to improve the platform. Was hoping we would get the PWE option. I'm surprised that hasn't trickled over to TCG Player. That's surprising. Cooter says, if there aren't prices, my money doesn't stop at your table. There you go. I'm big on that. The only time, and I mentioned this before, the only time that's not the case is if it's a card I really want. That's like and we're not talking like a Bowman Chrome auto. We're talking like pre-war, where it's probably the only card in the room, or if it's at the National, or there may be a couple in the room. But if it's something like that, then I'll ask. There was a Hack Wilson rookie at a show a few months ago. Didn't have a price. I asked, and it was fair. It was a fair price. I didn't buy it, but it was a fair price. So that's the only time I will ask. If it's a bunch of boxes should be marked. And I hate bargain boxes where it's like, they're not marked. And it's like, well, what are the prices? Oh, it just depends. Depends on your price. Are you just going to make it up? I give you a stack of cards and you're just going to make up a price. That's not the type of buyer I am. I want to know what I'm going to pay. John says, and there's plenty of Greg Morris auctions that go for below market. We see what we want to see. And I think I think we see like, oh, I have that card. I only sold it for $1. It sold for $4 on Greg Morris. But we don't see the other stuff that doesn't sell at $1 or sells for less than what we sold a card for. Let's see. Max says, I have my quarter unsleeved, 50-cent sleeved, $1 top load, no sticker, $2 plus price gun sticker. It's a good method. I like it. Grinding for good. Happy Monday. Nick says, I feel like when I look to list older cards, all of Greg Morris's set break cards sell pretty high. James says they rip a lot, big money. Yeah, they rip a ton. Greg Morris does command a premium over what the average sells. They have a more consistent metric for condition, which buyers trust. I absolutely hate the set break tag. That's just BS. Yes. Tom, says Bo. What's up, Tom? Good morning to you. John says, I list everything of previous sold, so Greg Morris stuff always pops up, and I see it. I do see a lot of sold under market as well. Orlando says, definitely trust Greg Morris grading. Cooter says, building a vintage set, I bought thousands of cards from Greg Morris at my price. Just have to be patient and willing to lose 15 to 20 times before you win a card. Brian's in the house. Find any Nolans in the Goodwill palette? Probably. I found a lot of Nolans. I found a lot of Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., Derek Jeter. George says there are still grains coming from multiple orifices. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. James says, was a good deal, 5-row, 4-row, 2-row, and $22 cards. John says, I love people pulling out modern players for later. The Charbonneau, Sierra, Joyner, Taylor, McDonald, Strasburg gangs did the same. Sometimes it pays off, and sometimes you get burned. John says, I'll be pulling these cards out of top loaders 15 years from now and saying to myself, can't believe the players people were top loading back then. That's why you don't keep cards for 15 years. Sell what's hot. Adley Rutschman rookies right now, although the market is down on what they were early in the season, that just comes with the territory. It's August, and baseball, young baseball players and prospects, this is like the worst time to sell some of that stuff. But my thought with Adley Rutschman is at $1 a card, I can probably recoup and make a decent profit. But if I hold on until October and the Orioles make a run, Adley hits a couple home runs in the playoffs, boom, you're going to see a big spike. So I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do in the near term. I'm certainly not going to leave them top loaded for 15 years. That's just not my business. But whether I do hold on to them for another 2 months remains to be seen. We'll see. Orlando says, found some Kevin Moss stored away. The Goodwill pallets is a monthly reminder when I dig through Goodwill pallets and see Kevin Moss and all of the Brian Taylor and those names. And it's really fun when I see the sticker prices on some of those top-loaded Brian Taylors. Mikey, good morning. I just woke up and apparently no one likes the deal I found because of rubber bands, which I don't understand. Well, rubber bands damage cards, so that's not a good thing. I think you're talking about the most recent pickup, and I couldn't tell the main deal. So Mikey got a deal for $200. There's 5 Ricky Henderson rookies shown. Apparently they were rubber banded. I don't know, but that's going to damage the cards. If they're in good condition, you made your money back on Ricky Henderson. If they're damaged, which you can't see in the photos, then it's probably not a good deal. So it's all condition related. John says, meanwhile, you're selling Roland Office 1975 tops for $2. Hell yeah. Rubber bands kill cards, and do not tie your happiness to people on the internet's opinions. There you go. If you're happy, that's all that matters. Your money, your thrills. Rising Inferno reminds me of Vindaloo for some reason. Nick says, how much profit on these cards at $1 each? Well, it depends. Like the Aaron Judge, regular price is $40. Say I get 30 for it. That's a good profit. Some of them you're looking at selling for $3 to $4. Your profit's $1. Profit is profit. And the efficiency that I can burn through these on listing, I can list these in, it might take a half an hour to list 50 to 100 cards because of they're all different. They're autos, they're parallels and all that. But like the Adleys, like it remains to be seen on if I sell them now, or if I wait until October. Now, I could wait until October and he goes 0 for 10 and the Orioles get swept. And then it's like, well, I shouldn't have waited. Should have sold these in August. And then you wait until March in spring training. Well, what happens in March? He could get hot and they sell. He could be average and they're like, oh, I could have got the same price in August and now, it's time value of money. Or he could tear his ACL. Now it's like, oh, fuck, I just wasted $75 on Adley Rutschman rookie cards. Those are the chances sometimes you take when you hold. That's why I don't like to hold anything. I like to flip it right away. John says the answer is negative 75 cents unless sold immediately. The USPS is making a killing off these cards. Let's see. Brian says, amen, Mikey. Rubber bands around a 52 mantle won't freaking matter when you laugh to the bank. Just enjoy what you do. Opinions be damned. There you go. Johnny M says, Mikey, it doesn't matter what others think. It's your money. You will probably get at least half your money back from just the Hendersons. And if the condition is any good, you will end up making money. Absolutely. If those are good condition with limited rubber band damage, I've pulled a lot of the cards that I got at the estate sale were rubber banded. And, you saw what they came back. If you watch the video, 6s, 7s. So that's still good. On vintage and ooh, that Ricky is just so close to vintage, just so close. But again, from the pictures, we don't know. Cooter says, Mikey, everyone online is an expert. Just ask them. They are also assholes. Just ask me. If you're happy with it, that is all that matters because it was your money, not theirs. People love to spend other people's money. People love to spend other people's money. It's so much easier than spending your own. Low Roller Scratcher, what's going on? I'm sure you can. Check it out. Call your local pawn shop. Max says, price guns exist? Yes, LOL. Over half the dealers I know use them every show. Let's see. Brian says, get the timeout button ready. Uh-oh, Low Roller. Timeout who? Muted. All right. We're good now. We're good now. Good now. We hear you. What's up, Duke? Now we can. Yes. Asal says, I better skip ahead in case my mic. Okay. Mike hasn't muted again. Asal says, ran 2 Whatnot shows over the weekend for the first time. Had decent success on items that I didn't think were worth listing on eBay. Do you ever do Whatnot shows? No, I don't. I was talking. There's a kid named Teddy. Shout out to Teddy. He's a hustler, man. Teddy's a local kid. He's going to be a sophomore this year in high school. And he's been coming to the Madison Card Show and some of the other shows since he was in junior high. So 6th or 7th grade is when he started. Man, he was as a 6th grader. He's walking around the Madison Card Show, freaking flipping cards and hustling. I'm like, this kid, he's going to be a savvy businessman when he gets older. Fuck, he's a savvy business kid right now. So I saw Teddy stopped by my table, and he's looking through my dollar cards, and he's like, do you do Whatnot? I'm like, no. I'm like, I may in the future. And he's like, these are perfect. He's like, this card, this will sell for like $4 or $5 on Whatnot. I'm like, I know a lot of these cards. I could sell these on eBay for $4 or $5. But he's like, yeah, but on Whatnot, they fly. So am I going to do Whatnot? I'm not going to say no. But certainly it's not in the near term plans. I like doing my YouTube shows, my YouTube sales, but the problem with the YouTube sales is I don't want to do singles because it's hard enough doing the bulk lots I do. If I sell 20 things, it takes me an hour to an hour and a half just to get them, probably an hour to get all the orders. Okay, this goes to this person. Make sure payments and all that. That's why I love eBay. eBay does all that work for me on the back end. I just have to list and ship. But when you're selling on your own, there's more work that's going on. And that's why I don't want to do stacked sales or anything like that. So, and I may do one of those with the bulk that I've attained. We may do some sales like that here in the next few months, probably in the winter. When fall sets in, it gets colder out. Mikey says it was the ghost of the old grumpy dealer muting you. Right. Old grump with his price gun. Let's see. Brian says, nice work. It's definitely a good way to get rid of things. Johnny M says, remember, Mikey, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, and they all stink. I love it. Brian, what's going on? Just watched PSA review. Bummer. I have a stack of 71 tops baseball cards that have min size required. Keep them all together. Going to resub someday to see what happens second time around. And that's kind of what I thought, like, maybe I'll wait. I've got a couple pre-war cards that SGC wouldn't slab because they're too fragile. And I'm like, I wonder if PSA would. I hate PSA slabs for pre-war, but I'd rather have them in a slab than raw. So I thought about doing that with the Peyton. Bummer. I was reading the teaser or spoiler alert. I thought about doing that with Peyton, but it's on its way to SGC. James says rubber bands are like Scotch tape. Yes. Max says, Mikey, people that want to talk crap about your pickups normally are just jealous. Rubber bands aren't great, but only you can assess the condition in person. If you're happy with it, stay that way. Amen. Brian says, was asked last minute to help pour beer at the Great Taste on Saturday. Didn't think I was going to go this year. It was a nice surprise. Very nice. Did Whatnot contact you to be a sponsor? No, they did not. John says, how do you prevent humans from removing cards from sleeves? I'm behind. Brian says, you can ask your boy Kerry about Whatnot. He loves it. Yeah. American arbitrage. Max says, John, my answer would be trust and security. Shouldn't set up at shows if you're that apprehensive about people switching tags and stealing. I agree with that. I agree. Let's see. Max says, I also have anything over 50 under glass. That's a great way to be. Showcases. And I had an unfortunate incident at my table. I had like 6 or 7 people at my table at this point in time. And there was a pair of sunglasses that was apparently left behind. I didn't know. There's 6 or 7 people at my table. I'm doing other things, and somebody goes, oh, hey, are these your sunglasses? Somebody, no, those aren't mine. There's like 5 other dudes standing there, and I'm like, well, it's somebody's probably their sunglasses. So I didn't pay no mind. I paid no mind. Kid comes up, hour later, whatever it was, and he's like, hey, did you find a pair of sunglasses? I'm like, oh, yeah, somebody said there was a pair of sunglasses down here at the end of the table. And I'm like, yeah, they were right there. They're not there anymore. So I'm looking on the floor and I'm like, I don't know. They were sunglasses. That's all. He's like, yeah, they were expensive. They were Oakleys and all that. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, give me your name and number. And if they show back up, I'll let you know. I talked to the promoters. They talked to the promoters. They're looking around and I don't think he ever found them. So probably one of the guys that was standing at my table, like, oh, free sunglasses. So just be careful. Don't leave shit around. I don't want to victim blame here, but we also have to take responsibility for shit. And dealers have to take responsibility for not getting things stolen. Showcases. Use showcases. Don't leave stuff. The estate sale. There's a guy at the estate sale that had a stack of cards that he was pulling, and he left it on like a table or something in the room and then went upstairs. And it's like, and if you would have seen, it wasn't like it was, these are my cards. Like the whole, like half the room was like stacks of cards everywhere. So it's like, all of these are for sale. So they weren't stolen because somebody grabbed them and went and paid for them. But he's like, oh, those were my cards. Well, why did you go upstairs and leave them? Come on. Like people need to take responsibility. And I think we've just kind of forgotten that. Like bad people suck. We know that. Thieves suck. They're the worst of the worst. Well, not the worst of the worst, but they're the worst. Thieves suck. I hate them. But at the same time, don't put yourself at risk. Don't walk away from your table with nobody watching it and then get upset when somebody steals cards. I might have had cards stolen yesterday. I don't know. That's why they're dollar cards and quarter cards. But the good shit, I make sure is hidden away or in a safe place or on my person so it doesn't get stolen. You know, I don't want PSA slab. I'm not going to leave a PSA slab Dr. J rookie right there where somebody can go grab it. Be responsible, please. It's only going to help yourself, but it's also going to help the promoters and the dealers and everybody. And we all live happily ever after, hopefully. Cooter says, John, did you ever find your binder? Low Roller went to a card show this weekend. I went to every table. They didn't buy my low-end sports cards. Nope. I priced them. I still make money. There you go. I think yesterday was more often than not, I had people coming up to my table offering to sell me the shit that I don't want. The shit that I'm trying to sell that's not selling. I had somebody offer me, I had some Pro Set Music Stars in my quarter box. My quarter boxes were hockey, soccer, other sports, and non-sports. And so in the non-sport box, there was a bunch of Pro Set Music cards. And I had a guy who had 2 of the plastic cases of Pro Set Music Stars. He's like, hey, I see you've got some. Do you want to buy these? And I'm like, no, these aren't selling for a quarter. What makes you think I want to buy yours? So here's one of the best sales, well, throughout multiple sales. The latest Goodwill palette had a bunch of those plaques. Remember in the 90s, and they still make them today, plaques, like wood plaques with like, some of them were just small with like one card, but then there's multiple with like an 8x10 and multiple cards and nameplate that's, you know, Clay Matthews. They're all like Packers crap and Brewers crap. And they were still in my backseat from the last Goodwill palette. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to put 10 bucks. I've got extra space because I didn't bring as many boxes as I usually do. So I've got an extra table. I'm going to throw this shit 10 bucks each. I sold like 6 or 7 items. And one guy comes up to me and he's like, hey, I've got a whole bunch of this stuff. Do you want more? No, it's not selling for 10 bucks. Well, I mean, some of it did sell for 10 bucks, but what I have left isn't selling for $10. No, it's not selling. I don't want to buy more. I had somebody else say, I've got a whole bunch of like stuff just like this. And I'm like, well, I don't really want it. And I'm like, I think it was a guy who had a son who he's like, it's all my son's stuff. And he's in his late 30s. And I'm like, I'm doing the numbers. I'm like, okay, I'm 42. And okay. So maybe if he collected basketball, there may be some Kobe's because he's 6, 7, 8 years younger than me. But I'm like, does it look like this stuff over here? And because I've got a box of like 90 Fleer complete set, 80 or 89 score, 90 upper deck. I'm like, does it look like this stuff? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm not interested. I'm sorry. I don't want any more of this stuff. I feel like I'm the dumping ground. And that's what, you know, when you have vintage dealers, they get all kinds of great vintage collections coming to their tables. I get garbage because that's what I sell. Garbage in, garbage out. They see me as a dumping ground. Ooh, you sell 89 score. I want to sell you more. No, it's not selling for 10 bucks. So does that give you an idea of what I would pay for it? If it's not selling for $10, it's negative value to me, which is what I want to talk about. My last purchase of the day, which was probably I would say the best. I know some of you, Cooter, John, they will say it was the best purchase of the day. John says, my binder is gone. It vaporized. Seriously, Bermuda Triangle shit. Nick says, I see those wood plaques all the time at yard sales. You were a hero for selling them. Yeah, I can't believe. Like, it's like, I'm going to take these home. Max says, you get offered what is on your table, plain and simple. I know. But it has led to some great pickups. Because when I am looking for bulk, sometimes I do acquire some great deals. But yesterday was a bunch of crap that I didn't want. Max says, have Pokemon guys all the time say I didn't get offered nice stuff today. Well, when everything you have is sub $25, that's why. And that's why. Last deal of the day, also dumping ground. Let me see if I can bring up, I don't think I tweeted this out, but I do think I have access to the photo. Let me see. Yes, see if I can save. Actually, I can just bring it up here. So Brady, who's a dealer at the Madison Card Show, he was set up and he talked about here. Actually, I'm going to save this. And I bought stuff from him multiple times, and it's usually stuff it's similar to stuff that's on my table. So he had reached out to me, I think at the last Madison Card Show. He's like, hey, I've got a whole bunch of binders of he's like, there's some vintage and there's a lot of like junk. I'm like, okay. And he's like, I'll bring it to the Janesville show. I'm like, all right, cool. All right. So let's actually ship. All right. I got to bring this. Where's it at? So he's like, I'll bring it to Janesville. And he's like, it's a whole bunch of binders. And I'm like, okay, cool. But he kind of gave me he tipped me off to why is this not? Damn it. All right. So I may have to show it from that screen. All right. So he said it's a bunch of binders. It's like it took forever to get all these up. So as you might be able to tell, there's a lot of junk in there. And most of this stuff was 91 Upper Deck, 90 Fleer, 89 tops. But there was 85 tops, 84 tops, 83 tops, 82 tops, 81 tops, 80 tops, 79, 78, 77, and 1955. So I take a look at the 1955 tops binder, which I'm going to show you here in a second. Some good stuff in there. Ernie Banks, Duke Snyder, Gil Hodges, Phil Rizzuto. The big names, not there, obviously. He did say, he submitted a lot of the stuff for grading. So I think like the Clemente and who else? Hank Aaron, stuff like that was subbed. So I'm like, okay, so this is a nice binder. First binder that was like there was it 83 tops? Like 83 tops. I looked for the Sandberg. The Sandberg was not there. I'm like, okay, so I think the rookies are going to be cherry picked. So I went to the 80 tops binder. No Ricky Henderson. I went to and then he did say, he's like, I looked at 78. The Eddie Murray's not there and the Paul Molitor's not there. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, so I'm under the assumption I don't need to look at the other, like the 84s and the 85s, because I know McGuire's gone, Clemens is gone, all of those. And then once we get past 85, there's really nothing to write home about. So basically we're looking at now, and I did check to see, okay, are like the stars here, George Brett, some of that stuff are those there in the early years? And they were. Reggie Jackson in 78. So he said, he goes, I was offered $550 for the 1955 tops binder. I'm like, okay, well, I look at most of this as negative value because now I have a whole bunch of junk binders that maybe I'll try to sell for $5 a pop. There is minimal. There is a little bit of demand for some of these binders that say baseball card album and that. I've been able to move them for $5. It shows. Not sometimes none sell, sometimes 5 or 6 sell, and sometimes 3 months go by and none sell. And they're a pain in the ass to haul around. So I'm looking through. I'm like, okay, so basically, I'm looking at the 55 binder and the 77 and 78. I think there's a 76 tops also, but I haven't gone through to see what all is there. I just assumed it was all junk outside of the 55, which obviously was the big hitter. So I'm like, basically I'm in it for the 55, the 77 and 78. The rest of the stuff has negative value to me because it's going to take, I've got to lug it home. It's going to sit, maybe Max brings up a good point. Maybe I do marketplace it. I mean, if I can get 50 to $100 maybe for some of these, it's worth it for me to dump it off. But basically right now it has negative value to me. So I'm looking at these three binders. They're cherry picked. There is good stuff in the 55. That's certainly interested. The 77 and 78, not very liquid. Some of the stuff I'll be able to move, but it's a lot of commons and the rookies are pulled. So I said, I'll do 500. I'll do 500. And he's like, can you get to 750 for everything? And I'm like, I can't. Let me look. So I looked at some of the comps. Some of the comps on 55 was a lot lower than I expected. And I'm like, no. I'm looking at some of these comps. And he's like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, I just can't get to that number. I'm really dead set at 500. So he's like, all right. He's like, how about 500 and my table at the next show? I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So basically $500 and he gets a table at the August 24th Madison Card Show. So I didn't realize this until I shared it in a group chat. It's a near complete set of 55 tops. And these are things that you learn. It's always good to learn something new every day. I didn't realize the 55 set was only 210 cards. It's in numerical order. So as I'm going through it, I'm like, well, there's only like 12 cards missing in this entire set. And it's the 12 biggest cards of the set. But so here's page 1. Show you. So these are all, essentially commons. Until you get to this page, you got Warren Spahn and Ernie Banks. Johnny Padres up there on the top. Dick Grote. Let's see. This page, some commons. Let's see, where are we at? We got Don Mossy. Old big ears Mossy. Don Zimmer. Brooklyn Dodgers. Let's see. We got Monty Irvin. Ted. Is it Kluszewski? Ken Boyer. The Pride of Quincy. Elvin Tappy. Let's see. I think there's 198 out of the 210 cards. Got Eddie Matthews. Let's see. Gil Hodges. Phil Rizzuto. We're just going to ignore that 70s card show. I see your comments. Duke Snyder. So a pretty good deal. $500 for that binder and all the junk. Well, in the 77 and 78 binders and maybe a 76. I don't know if that's in there or not. Oh, yeah. Al Kaline is in there as well. Let's see. Where are we at? John says I need to upgrade the banks as well. It's not on the list I sent you. And I may keep, because this banks is sharper than the copy I have. So I may keep the banks for my own collection. Let's see. John says I don't think there's any cloth stickers. I think it's just the 77 tops without the stickers, the cloth. Let's see. Johnny M hates binders. I pull the big stars, rookie inserts, and sell the rest of the binder on Facebook at $10 each. That's for junk wax era stuff. Oh, wow. Did he say 500 net to me? Zach says, don't trust comps on vintage. Some people don't check and just list to drive down the market. Hey, I think that's a shot at me. Orlando says, great deal on the 55s. Zach says, what that guy should have said about your 55 comment. I don't know what that means. John says, almost want to buy the whole thing so I don't have to rebinder. The K-line is a nice second year. Condition. Some are actually pretty, I mean, corners are dinged. Centering is an issue on some of them, but there's not really creasing. A few of them have creases. I haven't really inspected the bigger cards. I did look at the Ernie. Here, let's look at the Duke Snyder. That's one of the better cards. Yeah, actually, it looks. I mean, Oh, I think there's a crease. There's a crease in the corner. The surface has, some of the whitening on the surface. So here's a close up of the Duke. So you see on his face, it's got that whitening. The crease is up here. Goes from like right there, like right by the logo. I don't know if I can. There you can kind of see it. Right there by the G in Dodgers. So there's a little crease, but centering looks pretty decent. Corners are the corners for a 55. Am I muted? So there you go. Let's see. John says you should have to pass a test. Surprised you didn't say alkaline. Let's see. It's one set I'm slowly putting together, but want good stuff. Oh, suddenly pre-grading like Greg Morris. I don't think I'm muted. Zach says Orlando snuck in between my two comments. His response should have been about you not comping these cards before listing them blindly, trusting comps on the same product. And I'm not muted apparently. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty good deal. So there you go. So, and I've got a whole shitload of binders. I think I'm going to take what Johnny said. I may do that. What was his, he says he pulls the big stars, rookies, inserts, sell the rest for junk wax era, $10 each. I'll see if I can do that. Because there's like 50 binders in the back of my car. So I'm going to see. And I've got other binders. The Goodwill palette, there was more binders than usual in the last Goodwill palette. So not sets though, but I have some other binders of like 88 tops. So that's a good idea. I'll see if that works and see if I can get any bites. I haven't listed much on Facebook Marketplace lately. Not muted. He really did say Ted Koklucky. No, I didn't say Ted. I said, is it Ted Klucheski or Klozewski? Klucheski? Is it Klucheski? I don't know. If Kolzewski, is Ted in the Hall of Fame? If Ted's in the Hall of Fame, usually, and I usually know this, if Ted's not in the Hall of Fame, it doesn't matter if I can pronounce his name or not. If he's in the Hall of Fame, he's not in the Hall of Fame. He's buried in the Gate of Heaven Cemetery in Cincinnati. He's an Illinois guy, born in Argo. He was only an All-Star 4 times. Not in the Hall of Fame. So you can pronounce Ted Klozewski however the hell you want. Klozewski? Kolcheski? Oh, Kolcheski is my buddy Tom's last name. Denton says, Ted not in the hall. See? Ted's not in the hall. I can pronounce his name however the hell I want. I don't have to know. Bo hates Polish people, so I'm not surprised. Bo doesn't hate Polish people. Ted Kaczynski, nice guy from Montana. Yeah, he was an outdoorsman. Good at math. He liked to make stuff. So there you go. Good show. Janesville yesterday. Great show. Traffic was amazing. Orlando says, Bo messing with John. Great traffic. My God, it was crazy busy. And it was a beautiful day. And you know, we can use as show promoters, you can use every excuse in the book. Oh, it's a nice day. That's why the traffic's down. Oh, there's a NASCAR race. That was literally an excuse. The one time I set up at a show in Madison before I started mine, it was a Sunday, and it was like the Daytona 500, or it might have been Talladega. I don't know. It was what race? It wasn't Daytona, because that's in January. Well, wait, is the Daytona 500 in February? Because it might have been February when I set up. But that was the excuse. The slow traffic, the excuse was, well, you got the Daytona 500, whatever the NASCAR race is on. It's like, no, that is not a valid excuse to shitty traffic at a card show. But I say that, and sometimes weather does have an impact, but you know, I always want my show to have rain. But in reality, sometimes there's just the stars are aligned, and it can be a beautiful 80-degree day, sunshine and everything in August, and people come out and want to look at cardboard in a hotel lobby and banquet hall. And that was the case yesterday. Beautiful day. I don't know if there was a NASCAR race on, but people weren't at home watching it. They were at the card show, baby. They weren't at Beer Fest. They were at the card show. So great traffic. Hopefully we see the same turnout Saturday, August 24th, Madison, Wisconsin. By the way, I have locked in dates for fourth quarter. I haven't published those yet, but I will say it. In fact, that might be on my list here as soon as I get done with the show. So upcoming dates for the Madison Card Show at the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive, Saturday, August 24th, Saturday, September 28th, Saturday, October 19th, Saturday, November. Now I've got to look at the calendar. It's the Saturday right after Thanksgiving, which is always a really good show. November 30th, and then Saturday, December 28th, right after Christmas. So that's the rest of the year schedule. 200 tables this month. All 4 rooms are going to be open. Next month, that ends. So we're going back to 2 rooms, 140 tables for the September show and the rest of 2024. And probably the rest, it's just so much easier for me. And I'll probably, when I go to 100, I told some people yesterday about this. At 140 tables, and if I set up, and I'll add a few extra tables in upstairs in the hallway, and I can get a couple more into the upstairs ballroom, I will make more profit. My net profit will be higher on 140 tables than it will be on 200 tables. So if you think it's about the money, it ain't about the money. It was more about pride. Getting to 200 tables, I did it, and now I'm done, because I not only is it more profit, dollars and cents, at 140 tables, it's a hell of a lot less work. I don't have to go in on Friday night and set up an entire room and a second room with chairs and bring in 20 of my own tables. I'll still bring in my own tables because I use all of theirs. I'll have to bring in probably at least a dozen of my own tables. But so less work, more money. Seems pretty logical to me. Last couple chats. John says the 2024 National was the first ever show where dealers had no excuses. They were printing money. Yeah. I had a great show yesterday in Janesville from a sales standpoint, but here's the key for any dealers listening, or if you're looking to be a dealer at a card show on a regular basis. I had one of my best card shows ever as a dealer, but there were 2 reasons why. A, one of the most important, maybe the most important, all of my stuff was brand new. The only exception was maybe my non-sport quarter box. I think I'd brought to a previous show. Some of the dollar cards in the dollar boxes had been to previous shows. That's it. Everything was new. All new inventory. That's key. Second, prearranged deals. I bet 25% of my sales yesterday came from either people I know, like Shane came in from Cedar Rapids, 3-hour drive. He made a nice purchase. I had a prearranged deal with a guy that I pull cards for. And I had a prearranged deal with Chris, who bought a bunch of hockey cards, and his dad came and picked it up. So those 3 deals were probably a third, more than 25%, probably a third of my sales yesterday, prearranged. So networking is key. That's why I say it's more than just making sales at a card show. Make contacts, develop a customer base, meet people, talk to people, get purchases. This 55 Topps binder wasn't a one-off deal. I've bought 4 or 5, collections from Brady. The boxes that the cards that I got, I know what he has, and then he gives me deals, and I go back to him, and that's why people go back to you as a dealer. Like, oh well, he treats me right. I'm going to go back to him. Max always has a line at his tables because he treats his customers good. He's got good deals. He makes those connections. So that's the key. John says every other show is the worst show ever for dealers. Bunch of pissy little assholes. And every other, you know why that is? Because every other show, they bring the same shit they brought last month and complain. Well, I did $2,000 in sales last month. I only did 500 this month. Oh, well, what did you bring? Well, I brought the same stuff that I brought last month, and I go, and $2,000 of it is sold, and you didn't replace any of it. Like, come on. It should be common sense, but it's not so common. Max says, people still watch NASTurd. Apparently, Kyle, I know Kyle does. My guy, Kyle. Max would rather sit in the middle of the belt line between 4:30 and 5:30. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. John says, will there be a vintage non-sports room in September at the Madison Card Show? There will not be. There will not be. How about a 60s oddball football room? None of that either. Why didn't you buy LRS's pre-priced junk wax era commons? Anyone talk to Shane lately? The other Shane Koopmans. I don't know. Where is Shane Koopmans? Let's put out an APB in the Hobby Evolution Facebook group. I do know he got a new job that he's not able to watch live anymore. But shout out to Shane Koopmans. By the way, Shane Koopmans and Shane from Cedar Rapids, who came to the card show yesterday, Shane Koopmans actually used to work for Shane, the other Shane and Shane. Small world. And actually had a nice late lunch after the show. Little business conversation, a way to get rid of some of my bulk. So I'm looking forward to that deal with a good friend of mine. So looking forward to that. So that's what I had for today. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, watch my PSA reveal in case you didn't catch it. Uploaded yesterday. Speaking of PSA, I did drop off with 5-Star Cards, a sponsor with the Madison Card Show. Go see Matt. So I got those back, and then I subbed my 93 Jeter SP that was a Goodwill find. That went in to PSA. My Triple H WWF gassy this morning. My Triple H WWF debut ticket stub that's beat to hell, but I want it slabbed and authenticated. I think it's right now a pop 0 at PSA. Probably not too many people kept their ticket stubs to a 1995 TV taping in Moline, Illinois at the Mark of the Quad Cities. That's where Triple H made his debut in the WWF against Rock and Roll Buck Zumhoff. So that ticket has been submitted. I think Denton is a big ticket guy. I don't know if he's still with us, but I think tickets take a long time at PSA. So this thing, I lost it for several years. It ended up in the bottom of a coffee mug that I used as a pen holder. So it's got pen marks all over it. It's just beat to hell, faded. It's like a PSA -2, but I just want it slabbed and authenticated. So it's in there. I got to take it off my eBay store. I've got it listed in my eBay store for $1,000, but so that's a PSA. And then I subbed like 6 or 7 pre-war Cubs to SGC. I subbed like 3 E91As, including a 3 Fingers Brown. Subbed what else did I? A couple strip cards, a Fred Merkle. And what else? I think that's about it. I think just those 6 or 7. There's 3 E91As, the Merkle, and then I think 6 cards total. So yeah, so that's what I subbed. I have some other raw pre-war. I just don't know where they're at. That's when you know you have too many things in your collection, when you can't find tobacco cards. That's an organizational problem that I need to fix. Let's see. Zach says, I told Porter how Bo pronounced Ted's name. Porter said the baseball player, because of concern and Bo not knowing this gentleman's name. I'm sorry. I let Porter down. I don't care about letting John Keating down, but when I let the youth of our nation down, like Porter, now that's upsetting. And I'm going to have to read my pronunciation guide on 1960s baseball players and 1950s baseball players. So, Porter, I apologize. I'll do better next time. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, visit my eBay store, scrolling at the bottom of your screen, link also in the description, 99centcards.com. Buy 7 or more items at regular price, and you will save 25% off at checkout. Have a wonderful Monday, and we'll do this again tomorrow. See you then.